You have to have a certain je ne sais quoi to be a podcaster.
Oh, Tyler, my nutsack just went right up inside me. How did you do that? Tyler's a little wizard. That's the thing.
Well, it's because
Tyler can say something to any man and just have the nutsack invert inside of him. It's really strange, Tyler.
It's kind of my superpower. I think I'm the first of a new line.
Tyler, I can taste my swimmers. I don't know what you did to me just now.
Well, it's just because you have so many of them.
That's true. Yeah, they're starting to overtake. You guys are gonna see me next recording session. I'm just gonna be a tadpole, essentially. It's one big nut. Hey guys.
Oh, what's wrong, pal? What's
wrong, buddy?
I fucked up. I'm sorry, guys.
What'd you do?
I fucked up.
Did you get hit by another car?
No, I avoided all the cars this time. I haven't been riding my bike for a while, so no cars were hurt in the making of this podcast.
Is it your sperm count?
My sperm count's getting up there. It's actually doing pretty well, but that's not the reason.
What happened, pal?
Tyler gave a great suggestion for what this year title should be. If you guys aren't familiar, our friends, our personal friends, the McElroys,
our good friends,
the McElroy brothers, Bim Bam, my brother, and me, to some others. Every year they pick a name, and I forgot to tell them that they have this year off because we have a name for this year, a name for a title. Tyler came up with it, so I got to give Tyler credit for where credit's due. It is 20 Triple P, the year of the podcast, and I forgot to tell the McElroys. I forgot to tell them. And they came up with a theme, and it's a decent theme. But
I'm only a little upset that they never pitched 20 my brother and me.
Yeah, that's very good. That's for 2033. That's for their sunsetting. That's for their sort of Jimmy
Then we will rise in 2033.
We will
when we're doing this podcast in 10 calendar years.
The intro that I was going to. It's a podcast for podcaster 20 Triple P. This is our year. I'm O'Neill Henry.
I'm Tyler J. Carcaro.
And I'm Olivia Fumiya.
Yeah, when the McElroys do eventually quit the podcasting game, that is when we will rise from their ashes. So we are that void.
Much like a phoenix.
Three unrelated people.
Like the phoenixes.
Much like the Chilean miners.
We will rise
We are
from
like
the
phoenix,
ground.
except for we are the phoenixes like nephew that knows about the phoenix, but the phoenix doesn't know about us, but we're just waiting to inherit the money, you know?
Be like Mike. I want to be like Mike. We want to be like Mac.
Mac. All right. Write that down, somebody. I want to be like Mac. Donald's? No, it's not.
When will the McElroys give us their special stuff? Their Space
Are you
Jam
talking about their jism, Tyler?
Juice.
Tyler, you talking about the
We have talked too much about jizz already.
True. Well, we don't know how much it made the show.
In general, hey guys, us as three friends talk about O'Neill's jizz a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
That's on him.
Is it on me? I guess it is on me a little bit.
Now, is that on? Are you
enabling?
Are we actually friends?
Are we enabling this? We might. I think we because O'Neill goes, play a game with us. And we go, sure, O'Neill, what's it about? And he goes, it's my jizz again. And we go, all right.
Okay. You want to play the card game
we
again?
go, yes, and.
We go,
it's not yes, and it's okay, sure. But yeah, it's the new year. We're in it. Before the episode that came out last week was
the first one we're recording.
Yeah, this is our first
episode
we're recording in 2023. We're gonna get it 20 podcast 3 or 20 podcast 3 or 20 triple P. 20 triple P, right? 20 triple P, the year of the podcast, where we three bring you innovative, lucrative, and sometimes copyright infringing podcasts ideas. We see about it. It's fine. It's parody. Fucking talk to our lawyer. We don't have a lawyer yet. If you want to be our lawyer for the podcast, email us at email website.
I get the impression that we're going to need one at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get this wheel of choosing up, huh? And we are spin the wheel.
Unpleasant. That was an unpleasant mouth sound you just made.
Up first is liver.
It's me. Okay. Let's say you're at a funeral. And
all right, let me get the mind
it's
space.
like,
all right, Peepaw.
Okay, you're in
Peepaw's
a funeral.
dead.
Okay, this is someone who has lived a full life, is loved by many. It's more of a celebration of life.
So we're going like New Orleans style.
Kind of, yeah. But then someone stands up and goes, listen, this guy kind of sucked. Welcome to the Vibe Killer podcast. A podcast where we venture to destroy vibes in whatever situation is available.
Interesting. Okay.
So like the proverbial wet blanket for society.
Yes.
Okay.
But like situationally, like we come up with a situation, we craft a scenario, and then we figure out the worst possible way to kill the vibe.
Interesting.
Can I tweak that just a little bit? I feel like this would be better if we're killing society's vibe.
Too big.
No. Because for example.
Like, what can you personally do?
They just did nuclear fusion, right?
Okay,
for
yes.
the first time.
Yes.
It was a big science thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was crazy. Bill Nye was on CNN, and he was like, "Oh, here's what happens. Here's how it works. It's pretty crazy." And then we would come in and be like, it's not going to be commercially viable for at least 20 years. And even if they do, some rich guy's going to find a way to like monetize it and ruin it. And we kill
Tyler,
the
I don't want to
vibe.
go I Can Ask podcast with it.
No. Not like I'm going to be a Debbie Downer. Like, I want the vibe to be fucking destroyed.
Yes.
I want someone to I want to make it unsalvageable.
Okay.
Like,
could this be more of an advice
show?
show?
Exactly.
Personally, ruin the vibe.
Exactly. This is what I'm thinking.
What could
like
one
an anti
person do?
It's like a sort of like
an anti-advice show.
Exactly.
Sure.
This will help people because that's the thing. Some people learn from good examples and some people learn from bad examples, right? So this is a podcast where we give them the worst possible examples and then maybe we walk it back. Is there a healing aspect to this, Olivia? Because that's the thing I think I'm missing is like, can we
I saw this as more of just being a menace. I really didn't think about the pros of it.
just go full goblin mode on this world.
We're taking the word
love
of
that.
2022.
People are too nice.
Into
Let's fucking
Okay, interesting.
People are too nice. We gotta get in there and just get everything a little dirty.
I just want to get my hands in the dirt. I just want to stick my hand in grandma's casket.
We're not ruining people's days. We're not ruining.
No, it's all.
Things.
No one is actually.
We're
gets
just
hurt.
annihilating
We're
vibes.
just killing vibes. That's why it's a little more.
Okay. Yes, I'm with it. I'm with it for the concept itself. I'm just saying, like, what is the goal of the show?
I guess
kill
it's
vibes. What the fuck?
I get that. I get
no.
what we're doing, but if we're just gonna be
obviously, like, we are a comedy podcast and we're trying to be funny. I think it would just be like if this situation happened, what is the worst possible thing you could do without being like, we bring up the Nazis like every time. It's just like,
well, that's the thing, right? There are certain ways to kill a vibe every single time.
Actions can you do? Yeah, but like that's lazy.
Okay,
I don't want to
okay.
be like, well, genocide, no, or like starvation, no. Like I want to bring.
That could be a rule. If Hitler comes up, you're disqualified.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay.
Yeah.
So for instance, there's
almost surgical.
Yes, there's those
I
TikTok
love
trends
that.
of people playing terrible characters. I can't think of the specific names off the top, but there's the weeb guy, and then there's the guy who plays like these different kinds of characters that are usually just universal awful, like the nice guy.
I know exactly.
Yeah,
who
so
you're
I get that.
talking about.
I can understand that. So 2 suggestions. 1, we try what you were saying earlier, surgically dissemble a vibe, right? We come together, we craft. I think the first maybe quarter of the show would be crafting the perfect vibe, the most perfect impenetrable thing, and then we then all try to jump on it. Or another suggestion would be we each inhabit, this is getting a little I Can Has podcast, but stick with me. We each inhabit one of those like cringe characters, one of those like the nice guy, the weeb, whatever. We inhabit one of those characters and then place them in different scenarios to kill the vibe.
The thing is, I don't want it to be like a character or something. Like, I don't want anyone to guess what's coming next. I don't think that there should be anything predictable about it.
Okay. Give me another example then, because I don't know if I'm necessarily 100% understanding the concept.
So, like, let's say that your brother just got his pilot's license and you're at dinner with your family and your father was a pilot and your grandfather was a pilot and you are a school photographer, a crappy school photography company, like, I don't know, let's say Life Touch. And
all right, okay. It sounds familiar. I can see myself with this.
Everyone's so proud of your brother for becoming a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to kill the vibe?
Okay.
What is done to kill the vibe? You know, like, I don't.
You know, Granddad died in a plane.
It could be like that, or it's like,
private
jets are killing
Dad,
the planet.
Dad, you in the Mile High Club?
And if your mom's there, be like, I don't think so. And then he's like,
oh, okay. So okay. I've got the concept now. I think I understand. It's less so. I think vibe killing might be a little bit of a misnomer. I get it from a conceptual thing, but I think it needs to be a little bit more specific. This is sort of like ruining family dinner.
But it doesn't have to be family.
I know,
dinner.
but that's sort of that's closer to at least what I'm trying to understand is like you're not necessarily trying to just say the most heinous shit because it would be fairly easy to. You are trying you're trying to get a rise out of somebody, but that's the thing. That's my only issue with it is how do then. If we're not doing characters, how do you? And it's just us three. We're not actually in those situations.
It is an advice show. People are either calling in or we're getting emails, and they're describing scenarios, much like the one above, where it's like I hate this scenario. I hate my family.
Okay, okay. I'm with that.
I need a way advice to ruin the vibe.
Okay. All right. So people.
There
we go.
It's like more of a
there
thing.
So we give advice on how to. Okay.
We're providing people with advice.
It's
on
advice,
how to ruin
but it's on
the vibe.
how to be terrible people.
Got you. Okay. So that's the thing.
We're leaving. We're not taking any prisoners at 20 Triple P. Okay.
So another example, just to make sure I understand
this. Is called Goblin Mode.
Goblin Mode. Oh, we'll come to the names here in a
one.
second. But a suggestion or a suggestion for one of these things, so that way I think I can understand it. So, my cousin always invites me to go to the zoo with her so they can have a break and I will actually end up watching the kids, right? That is the question that we get written in. And so then the vibe killer would be how to absolutely ruin the zoo for these kids so that they never want to go back and you never have to babysit the kids at the zoo again. Is that sort of the situational?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, that is a ideal
So this
scenario.
is kind of like how they say if you washing the dishes
Badly
wrong,
enough.
then you just never get asked to do it.
Eventually we'll never have to do it
sort
again.
of vibe. Okay. I'm with it now. I get it.
Yes.
How to be bad.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, but just so that it's not too gross, I would say we want to either get or craft or receive or work on situations that are already shitty and we're just exploding them so that they can never be again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
This isn't like I hate my shithead dad for cheating on my mom and I want to, it's like, no. This is, my mom always asked me to take the turkey out of the freezer.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have time for that. How can I make sure that she never?
Well,
I never have to take the. Turkey
I would rather.
Out of the
See,
freezer.
that's the thing.
Like
I would rather do the
weaponized
shithead dad thing
helplessness?
than the turkey thing. I would rather stay away from situations that are either neutral or positive and ruin them versus situations that are already shitty and just making them even worse. So that way they just never happen again. Is that something that vibes with it?
Like,
or?
okay, for like the zoo one, I'm thinking of like the touch tank at the aquarium. Be like, yeah, that's a lobster. It's in the touch tank. You put 2 and 2 together. Like, I don't know. Like,
Put your penis in the lobster?
Or like, oh, maybe you should give the stingray your action figure in the ray tank.
Okay.
Just finding the one thing that
I want you to look
just
that chimpanzee
cement.
in the eyes and feel its deep sadness.
We tell you about Steve Irwin. No, like
exactly.
I don't like something
Just
like that.
ruin the zoo. Okay, yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I think that's my only codicil is that we stay away from enabling people, because that's the thing. Like, we don't need to kill
shouldn't
vibes
be
for
ruining
things that are
situations that are already bad. Yeah, like we are good. Like, we shouldn't be killing
the
vibes
classic
for.
is I am at Thanksgiving dinner with my very crazy QAnon conservative family.
How do I blow up that Thanksgiving dinner?
How do I blow up that Thanksgiving dinner? You know?
With skill.
With skill, style,
With skill.
meticulous,
Skills.
like
With
a
flair.
secret agent sneaking in behind enemy lines.
How can you? This
'Cause you
is
can't
not
just be like,
a
you guys are
destroying
all
the vibe.
idiots.
How can you assassinate? The
Assassinate?
Yes.
Vibe assassination?
Yes.
Something there.
vibe assassin.
Vibe
is the name of the
assassin. There it
podcast.
is.
Vibe assassin.
There it is. Vibe assassin.
assassin's
I
very good.
love that. Fuck yeah, dude. Are we okay? So we're in the
Vibe
title area.
assassin,
Vibe
yeah.
assassin, or Vibe assassin?
Yeah, I think that's pretty
I love
good.
that.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's a
yeah,
good
dude.
one.
Oh hell yeah, great. Love that. Solid pitch. Good shit.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're ready to move on. Unless anybody else thinks we're
Yeah.
back up to what? But
Pretty happy with that.
And
Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel. Spin that
Ooh,
wheel.
oh, it's gonna be. Is it me? Is it me? It's
It
a
is.
me.
It's O'Neil Henry.
That's me. Okay. It's 2023. Let's start there. 2023. We talk about resolutions jokingly, but does anybody have any actual resolutions they need to get done?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What do we got?
So, I am a TikTok addict. Like, not in like a fun way. Like, I spend so much time on TikTok, where like genuinely hours of my day disappear
From TikTok?
because I am scrolling on that app. So, what I have done is my resolution, I'm just to make it short and sweet, is to replace TikTok with reading books.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I want to read more books and I want to spend less time on TikTok. So what I have done is I have created a shortcut in my phone that I have put the TikTok icon and I've made it into a widget. And every time I want to click on the TikTok app, it opens Libby, a free ebook service that I subscribe to with my library card.
Well, there you go.
And I've taken TikTok, not deleted off my phone, because I'm an addict. Come on. I gotta
get that hit.
baby steps. And it's still very fun, and I want to know what sounds are going on because it's good for my brain to just constantly have something new to listen to. But I have to like search it now. It's like I have to like physically seek out TikTok for TikTok.
It's not readily accessible.
but
Okay,
otherwise,
so
I
going
am
off your
reading.
books thing, is there a book that you know you should read, but damn it, can't bring yourself to do it?
I am right in the middle of one of those books.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's just hard.
I am about 100 pages into The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. A seminal science fiction novel.
Okay.
It's
This
a
is
huge
Babel by
bummer.
R.F. Kuang.
she is the queen of books
Book talk.
that you read and you're like, oh, this is like a fun little like fantasy book, and then you're like, everyone's dead and it's an allegory for World War II and the nuclear age. And
Okay,
you're like,
yes,
fuck.
taking that, but I want to even extrapolate it out further. There are books and movies and TV shows and so many things that are good for Avatar. The new Avatar movie for some people is just like they need to go see it, but God, it's such a drag to do it. This is a motivational podcast called Brussel Sprouts.
Okay.
This is, I don't know form, structure, any of that stuff yet, but it is a motivational podcast to help us and help other people get into things that are culturally relevant, culturally important, things that you always have on your list that it's like, I gotta get to that.
The Sopranos.
The Sopranos is a great one. It's like, oh, I don't want to
Marvel
watch
movies.
The Sopranos, but I probably should, right?
Has been on my list since I was 15. I haven't watched it. hate gangster stuff, but I probably should, right? Like it's like I'll probably like it. Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad's definitely
Bad.
another
I've
one.
seen it.
It's like, oh, it's a great show, but Game of Thrones is one for me that I just can't bring myself to finish.
Don't.
Nah, you don't need to.
I'll tell you right now, don't do
But
that
that's the premise of Brussels sprouts, and that's the thing. I don't think it necessarily needs to be consumables either. I think achieving, workout goals for the new year is sort of like how to do that. I have some weight loss tips I could give out, possibly that sort of thing. And I think at the end of the podcast, the goal is to be completely motivated and ready to do whatever that thing is. But that is why it's called Brussels sprouts. And that's the other part of it is like, I didn't like Brussels sprouts growing up as a kid, but that's because it wasn't prepared right. It wasn't shown to me correctly in the right light.
Yes.
So that's the other thing. If one of you two had something that you want us to do, so that way we could talk about it, discuss it, etc., you can present that to us in the Brussels sprouts.
So this is a mindset. This is I'm trying to think of what the word.
A
I had the word in my head.
motivational podcast, a self-help podcast.
It is a mindset shifting podcast.
Yes, exactly. I think that's a better way to describe it.
What I think we should key in on. You mentioned that you wanted to do stuff other than consumables. I think you should key in on the consumables.
Yeah, I mean,
in particular, in the sense that I think it would be interesting to be like, hey, you know how you're supposed to have watched Citizen Kane as a film person since it's like a thing and you haven't? Because why would you?
I've seen it.
It's 2023.
Yeah.
Well, this is a podcast explaining why you should watch Citizen Kane and how it will expand your mind.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it. But I also think 2023, we're here for the plot. 2023 is all about the plot. So I do want it to be consumables, but also just new experiences. I want you to, it's a try new things podcast. But also things that you've heard about, but you didn't want to do.
This is like, this is why you should start roller skating as an adult. Like, I don't like something like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. If you have something that you want other people to try, or if you have something that you are yourself are trying to try.
Okay, so this is like kind of like a convincing podcast, but also, okay, so we are basically creating essays on why this thing, it's a persuasive essay.
It's a persuasive essay podcast with, banter. And I don't know, again, form and structure. I don't know if each of us bring something. I think that would be very fun. I think if each of us brought something that's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to persuade. That could be fun. But also like if we have a personal goal of something that we want to do or try, for instance, this is out there, but skydiving, right? That's not something you can go do immediately right after, as opposed to like a movie or book or something.
Something that
but
takes
you could talk
time
about
to
all the
do.
experiences about skydiving and why you would personally want to, and sort of hype yourself up to go do that. So those are my, other options.
Okay.
Thoughts?
So I guess this is a persuasive reframing podcast. I'm using a lot of buzzwords. But so it's essentially your friends convince you to watch Marvel movies.
Yeah, similar
it's my
vein, right?
case, so like I could count on like both hands how many Marvel movies I have seen in full. And like Tyler tries to convince me why the Marvel Cinematic Universe is worth consuming as a modern day American.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of, and that's the other thing is like, especially with things that have negative connotation but just need to be reframed in a different way. That is another aspect of Brussels Sprouts is the name of the podcast. And that's the thing. I'm not 100% sold on the name of the podcast, but I think it has
I like the name.
energy
It makes
that
sense.
I'm looking for.
I don't know, because a lot of adults are like, yeah, I only ever had steamed, salted Brussels sprouts when I was a kid. And everyone's like, have you tried just cutting them up and roasting them?
Roasted Brussels sprouts, baby. It's a good
deep fried.
Deep fried Brussels sprouts. Are you kidding me?
Fuck me.
Same with artichoke.
I feel like everyone has like a Brussels sprout. Like I feel like Brussels sprout is a very good, even like broccoli. Some people are just like, yeah, I just don't like it however it's prepared. But like Brussels sprouts, like there's a point there. It makes sense. It makes sense. I don't want to go crazy about the name, but I like the name Brussels sprouts for the name of the podcast.
As another angle you can take, not necessarily stuff that is bad or hasn't been pitched to you right. I like the concept of motivating someone to do something that is daunting.
Yeah, that's another. That's definitely another aspect.
And it could be big or small, but daunting. Like, hey, start your small business this week.
Yeah.
Or hey, read Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings.
Jesus Christ, that is a thick book. God damn, that's oof.
This is a great example. This is what I will bring to the pilot. This is one of the greatest fantasy novels ever
that's
written.
a thickie.
It's a fucking
That's a
chonker.
thickie. Oofa.
How many? Hey, Tyler, can you give me a page count on that?
Yeah.
Do you want it with the notes and the maps?
Oh,
in the
no.
back? Just
No.
No,
don't need that.
I just want text
Oh,
block.
no, just go to the epilogue.
Don't read the last line.
Cheater.
That's a clean 1,000.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Damn.
All right, word. I just read an 800-pound monster, 800 pounds, 800 page monster. So I can understand that.
But yeah, that is
4
my
months.
idea. Do you guys have your own personal Brussels sprouts? Either ones for other people or ones for yourselves?
So like my example would be like why you should start roller skating as an adult. I have experience with that. I started doing it. I think it's a really great thing that people should do more.
Okay.
That would be like my pitch for like, here's like me trying to convince somebody. Someone needs to convince me to watch Marvel movies. I think that's like a pretty solid starting point for me.
Okay. Tyler?
This is going to be a weird one, but can I pitch chilling at the beach? Everyone at the beach just wants to do stuff. Everyone at the beach wants to go in the water and splash around. I just want to sit in my lawn chair and listen to Jimmy
Tyler.
Buffett. And here's the thing. I never liked that. I never thought I would like it. I saw my dad doing it, and I was like, that looks boring as hell. I'm going to go do this weird thing at the beach. But when you sit there and you just listen to the waves and you sort of commune with nature, I think that is... I think too many people are trying to do stuff at the beach.
Or like, here's one like you should wear sunscreen. Like I don't know.
I don't know
I
if that's
feel like
necessarily most. I will say, Tyler, for yours specifically,
You should use a
I think
daily
that's a
moisturizer.
difference of availability to beaches because I'll just go to the beach and chill, but I can go to the beach whenever. Versus somebody who, if it's a once in a lifetime thing, or not once in a lifetime, but once a year. But yeah, okay, cool. So that was Brussels sprouts. Any other notes, questions? Do we understand sort of the form? I guess it would just be each of us bringing a Brussels sprout.
I don't know because I feel like you could do some episodes where like each of us bring something and we each try to convince each other. But I think you could also do like every couple of episodes. Here's just an idea that I've had, and I think that I want to like literally pitch this idea to a wider audience. So like I see it as both of a workshopping, reframing podcast amongst the three of us, or like guests if we wanted to bring someone on. Someone who wants to be convinced of something. But I think there's a little bit of room to play with because like I feel like you have your triple P cast, you have your 3 ideas, and those are workshopped. But then you also have your bit depth, which is like someone.
That's what I was saying. So if we were to do this like a full form thing, I think it would start with maybe like an opening, a check-in, probably. I just finished doing another round of producing for another podcast, and so structure and form has been on my mind recently. But I think it would start out with sort of a check-in, like us, the 3 hosts or whoever, the hosts, guests, whatever, checking in on their goals, their Brussels sprouts, how things are going. And then it would go idea, and then audience Brussels sprouts. Kind of how Wonderful does it, or what's the other show? Can't think of the other show, but
where like people like write in.
People write in and try to pitch their own things, and we take maybe 1 or 2 of those and sort of just riff on it for a little bit.
That's a really pleasant.
I like that.
concept, O'Neill. I love this concept. I think it's very pleasant and agreeable.
I think I've been too. I'm on my positivity
we
grind.
had the two opposite.
The energy's entirely different. Yeah.
Olivia's like goblin mode. And Olivia's like,
I've started to chill out. I think a little bit.
Is this maturing? Are we maturing?
No, I think I've just been too stressed lately, and this is how I'm sort of balancing my poles a little bit. So
how you're learning to roast your Brussels
that was
sprouts.
Brussels sprouts, and it was I could even imagine like the song being something nice and fun and poppy and a little Animal Crossy. Anyway, all right, Ellen DeGreedy, you're up.
All right, Ellen DeGreedy.
So I was debating which one I was going to pitch today, but I think because neither of you brought character-focused pitches.
Is Tyler going to introduce a character podcast?
Now, here's the thing. This is not necessarily like super in-depth characters, but we will be podcasting in a fiction.
Okay.
You guys are
fucking drop me in.
with-
Don't fucking preamble this shit. Drop me in.
You guys are familiar with the simulation theory,
Yes.
correct?
Which one?
That we're living in a simulation.
Yes.
This podcast that I'm bringing today is a podcast where we are a neutral third party reviewing how the simulation's going.
Okay. All right. All right.
So this is sort of, think of movie review podcasts.
How the
this
simulation's
like-
going. Okay.
Hey, what did you guys think of Kevin McCarthy's getting voted 15 times to become? I give it a 5 out of 5 stars.
I love this.
it.
Okay.
So it's like almost having a game developer inside
yeah,
the game
so,
kind of thing.
So that's the question. That's my first question is what kind of character, or I mean, there's different kinds of characters we could play in. Because my other idea, I love
that's what I
Olivia's
need to talk about.
game dev like angle of it. Another angle of it is that death to 2020, death to 2021 sort of review sarcasm-y angle too. So what angle are you
satirical.
presenting here?
See, that's what
Okay.
needs to get worked out. Specifically, who the characters are is not something I had thought of, but I did think it was funny to have a podcast where I can go, I wasn't sure about the plot line with Andrew Tate getting arrested, but it really popped off when he did it because of a cell phone on Twitter.
It was because of the pizza.
Like,
yeah, 100%. Okay, so
because of the pizza.
Okay,
you know?
I'm gonna just present a couple of different ideas of how we
go
can go with it.
nuts.
I love the game dev idea. Like we are people either running the simulation or playing the simulation. I don't know, something along those lines.
What about like a movie commentary?
Oh, like a
Like
riff
the
track. I
directors.
kind of like that too. That's pretty.
So
fun.
what we were thinking here with the whole
Yeah, I have
get
here
it.
the designer of Capitol Hill, and he architected the entire U.S. government, and he's here to tell us about his update to the system starting from January 6th.
He's telling us about the new House of Representatives. meta.
I love that. I love that idea. Another one is obviously a more sarcastic sort of Death to 2020 review podcast. I mean, that is maybe a whole other pitch of just like the year-end review sort of thing. Because
It needs to be in the fiction that this is a
okay, then I have
simulation.
another one, which
That is
and I want to
important.
float this by you because I don't know. This could be where we bring in actual characters, but I don't know how it works. The Illuminati.
We are the new world
We
order.
are not even that, but we are
Now,
the
that's
secret
getting
world
dangerously
order.
close to the Netflix animated show Inside Job.
Oh, I haven't.
In which there are companies. There's like the Illuminati is a company that runs the world, and the deep state is like a secret organization that
Okay.
does it, and it's sort of like a workplace drama, but it's about
These
those
are people. Okay, that's not necessarily where I'm going
Okay.
with it, but I'd rather it is a review podcast for other Illuminati members about the the deep state, sort of the writing that we're doing, the orchestrating that we're doing, and it's run by your Jeff Bezos, maybe. It's maybe or and maybe
who's in that
deep state that we could maybe put on this podcast. Guy Fieri, is he in the deep state? We don't know. Who is running the deep state?
Olivia, how do you feel? Do you prefer a more game dev approach?
Yes.
or do you
I think I
a deep
prefer
state
more
approach?
game because I
think I
feel
do.
Okay.
like it's a little too because again to be able to see like the overarching like Illuminati at least my point is you need to know about things and I'm an idiot so like I just need to be able to be like here's how I feel.
Okay.
I'm a feeler, not a thinker.
Capitalism really popped off.
So then,
today.
in that instance, I think it would behoove us for pitching this podcast and sort of hammering out the podcast. Who are the three hosts then?
Exactly right.
Are we engineers in the simulation? Are we gamers of the simulation? Are we
Could we be
simulation critics?
See, I was thinking, I had initially thought simulation critics. The exact note in my phone for this one was reviewing the simulation.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of what about like testers?
Okay, speak on that. Speak
You know
on
how
that.
like video game testers,
Like we're like beta testers?
We're beta testing
Beta
the
testing the
simulation.
new simulation. Okay. So
Was that a bug when McCarthy had 15 votes to become Speaker of the House, or is that No, it was intentional.
interesting. Okay, okay. I like this.
What if it's like a focus group?
Yeah, yes. Okay. Let's chase this. Let's chase this. We are play testers for the simulation. Are we saying that our play okay, let's tie the fiction to the meta real quick. Just I know this is really heady, but are we saying that our playing of the simulation is what's happening now and then we're just reviewing that? Or are we saying that this is like a game that's coming out? Like how how does the meta tie to the fiction? That's my ultimate thing.
I think I think we need to take a step back
Okay.
from this idea. I think it needs to be more like devs. We are the creators of the simulation. I think if you start getting into like we're play testers, you're getting them the lost in the sauce is kind of a hat on a hat.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think you need it to just be we're the devs, we're designing the simulation, and we're discussing how we think it went.
Okay, yeah, I like this.
So like this week we launched the
This
launched
week
the
we launched
118th just to
the 118th United States Congress DLC.
Yes. And here's
I
how we
love
think
that.
it went. So it's almost like taking a step back from the news and seeing how it could be interplayed
I
with,
love
like
this.
how many things were sort of game choices. I think that's.
Did you guys
I think
find
that's a good way of
the
taking it.
bug that would trigger the Brazil Easter egg? Because essentially it's a I know it's essentially just a mod of the U.S. January 6th.
Yeah, it's a
But
January 6th
it was
hack,
kind of
but-
cool to see it play out in Brazil. So, you know.
Did you see the modder that put Jair Bolsonaro in Florida?
Oh, God bless. Okay, yes, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
So for our each individual characters, this is getting a little bit into writer's room.
I think this is a little. I think that's a
Okay.
little too
Okay.
writer's room, like who each
Yeah.
of us are and what we like to work on. I think
Can we just toss out some
because
some
one of us can be a
roles,
pop
possibly?
culture person. One of us
Okay,
can
yeah, the
be
pop
like,
culture person. I love
you know,
that.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
One of us could be like, you know, Olivia. I thought it was really lazy when you made Avatar 2 the biggest movie in the
Yeah,
world.
like we already kind of did that one. Okay, I love that. So you have your
Yeah.
pop
Yeah.
culture
That one,
person.
you know.
You have your historical debugger. So like a person that's like supposed to keep track of history to keep it from repeating, essentially. And then maybe your what's another like engineer type that you could build? Just like the
What is the one for? There has to be one for like random encounters. To
to make
real.
it feel like a unique
Oh,
experience. So the unique
yes.
experience operator, and they're just losing their goddamn mind. They're like, we're running out of ideas.
So this side quest is this guy.
Side
who
quest.
sits
Oh,
on
that's
the-
it. Side
who's
quest programmer.
The side quest guy.
I like
There's
that.
this guy who plays the drums at Government Center at the train station on the Blue Line platform. If I interact with him, what's gonna happen?
If you approach this guy with 3 eggs, he will give you a new quest about tax evasion. I love that. Okay, yeah, great, fantastic. Love this. Love this. All right,
Fantastic.
let's bang out a title real quick.
Yeah.
What do we think?
If it wasn't already a YouTube series, Dev Diaries would be very
Dev
good.
Diaries. Yeah,
But can we?
I don't know how much we want to leave into game versus, you know, something about the.
Can we call it the simulation situation?
Let's go a little bit more review show with it if we're gonna go that way. Like Triple Click. I'm trying to think like video game podcasts that have. Oh man, a lot of video game podcasts do not put the name on the tin, huh? Sims.
Can we call it counterfeit? How about something like a single word title?
a single word title that review
like-
that.
that is like a synonym for simulation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I like where that goes.
It
I like
is just the Red Pill cast.
the Red Pill cast.
That I feel like
That's a
getting
little
into-
too-
you're
a
gonna
little
get into some
too
dangerous
good.
SEO territory.
all right.
Sims is already a thing, and that's already a game.
Imposter, the simulacrum.
I was also
The-
tracing simulacrum. I don't know if there's anything there for that. But what about just like?
Could it be the pseudocast?
Oh, I like that. Let's take the name and make it the meta.
I gotta put on my thinking cap.
All right, put it on. Where's that? Gotta go. Oh, Olivia's gonna go get her thinking cap. I'm gonna wear my thinking condoms
They catch all.
to catch all my ideas and my spermies.
Could you just call it like pseudoscience?
Well, that's already a
It's
thing
the
for sure.
pseudoscience.
But I'm thinking simulation theory.
Oh, there's a psychological disorder for when you believe that this is true.
Oh, what is it called?
It's the depersonalization derealization
The
disorder.
That's the Truman Show, baby.
The Real D-Real podcast.
The B Real podcast. The B
No, it's something there. Derealization.
Real.
the D real state of the
The
state
union.
of the union.
Oh, let's chase
state-
that. Let's
the
chase.
state
Wait,
of
what's
the-
it? What's
Yeah,
it? What
yeah,
are those
yeah.
Nintendo updates called?
Oh, Nintendo Direct.
Yes, D-Real Directs.
Is that too niche?
Is it?
I mean, I know what a Nintendo Direct is. Does my mom know what
No.
a Nintendo Direct is? Is she gonna get that reference? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
That's my new measure. I'm measuring I'm measuring whether the name works, whether my mom would understand.
But there's something there, right? That's like that's what I was going for.
No, you're right.
Yeah, Derail Directs is the best I got, I think. Unless we want to do something simi. What about just making simulation a fun word? Simipod. Sim
or be simmed.
Sim or be simmed.
And then it's like a
7
threat.
Deadly Sims.
The 7 Deadly Sims.
Well, now it's just a Sims podcast. That's my problem with
The
it.
3 Muska Sims. The 3 Muska Sims.
Muska Sims. Simulation. All right, let's just take it back to the core concept of it, and that may maybe do the juice. So it's 3 developers of the simulation who
We just call it simulation? What? It's not a simulation.
Yeah, that's
The Not Simulation podcast.
What if we just call it the Free Guy podcast? And we get Ryan Reynolds on. We pull him from the simulation.
Yeah. That movie was fine.
It's okay. Could we just call it the Not Simulation podcast? Not a simulation podcast?
The Not a Simulation podcast. This is not a simulation podcast.
Yeah. And then we have a 30-second disclaimer at the beginning. It's like, if you are receiving this podcast out of error, please disregard this message. This is not a simulation. You know, that sort of thing.
That could be fun.
I think I'm in.
Not a simulation. The not a this is
the not a sim. The Not a Sim podcast.
Not a sim. Oh, maybe that's the company name. Not a sim.
Nottasim.
Yeah, but it's spelled
NOTTASMSIM. Not a sim.
Not a sim.
The Not a Sim podcast. Oh, I like that. Liver, how are you feeling on it?
I like that.
Okay.
Because I can't think of anything else.
Okay, cool. I like that. It has that level. It has that Virgil Horse level of extrapolation. Not a sim. All right. Recap time. Liver.
Okay, we have Vibe Assassins, in which we venture to destroy the vibes with surgical precision for scenarios that already suck.
All right. Mine was Brussel Sprouts, a motivational podcast to get you to do something that you've kind of been dreading or putting off, and a pitching podcast to pitch things that other people might see in a negative light and reframe it. A reframing and motivational podcast.
A life reaffirming podcast. That's the level of podcasting I want to get. By 5 years from now, I want to still be doing this show, and every episode it's like, man, I was on the ledge this week, but they did a sequel to Virgil. They did a Virgil Horse sequel, and it really blew my mind.
All right, Tyler.
And we have the Not a Sim podcast, a podcast that's definitely not about the simulation we're currently living in.
I love the meta on that. All right, and now it's time for deliberation. How are we feeling about these podcasts?
I think we have 3 legitimate B segments.
Yeah, we have 3 good.
We have
three good B
This
segments.
is a very
This might be
solid
the first
week.
one where all 3 of us brought a legitimate
Yeah.
B segment.
We brought the heat
contender.
this week.
None
20
of them are
20 triple
bit
P.
depths.
Let's go,
They are
baby.
all
I don't
Yes.
know. Let's make that first point of order. Which of these do we think any of these could be bit depths? I think Brussels Sprouts could be, but it requires a little bit more audience interaction than I think we have currently.
Yes.
Same with Vibe Assassins.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think both could
Yeah.
be bit depth. I don't know about Vibe Assassins, though. Would Vibe Assassins work?
Vibe Assassins, I don't think it
I
could
don't
make
think it
a.
would-
Vibe
I don't
Assassins
think we could do a
feels
full
B-segment.
hour
Okay.
on Vibe Assassins.
So Brussels Sprouts is a potential for. I think we could do an hour for Not a Sim too. Are you kidding me? Easy. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
current events
Yeah, we
podcast
could.
with fun meta, and we could bring on a whole bunch of guests.
It's a meta current events podcast.
I love that.
That's
So
exactly-
both
yeah.
Brussels Sprouts and Not a Sim could be potential bit
Potential
depths.
bit depths,
So with that,
BDs.
do we have a strong feeling towards Vibe Assassins?
I
I like Vibe
like
Assassins.
Vibe
Okay,
Assassins,
interesting.
but I don't necessarily know. I think as much as I'm proud of the idea and where it has gone, which is not something I say often, I think we have 2 stronger candidates this week.
So we'll put Vibe Assassins off for now.
Yeah.
The name is just so
It's very good.
very
It's a very good concept. I think. You know what? I think Vibe Assassins, especially as our show grows, could come back as a bit depth.
Yeah.
I agree. There are some podcasts I have that I have not pitched yet that require audience participation that we just don't have.
So
yet.
we'll get there.
So-
We'll get there with Vibe Assassins. So Nottasim and Brussels Sprouts. Brussels Sprouts will be kind, nice. Nottasim will be funny and pointed. So it really is just two different kinds of flavors. Brussels Sprouts sort of makes sense for the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
but Nottasim would just be a fun way to kick off 20 Triple P. So I'm really open to both. I have no arguments in my mind whether we should choose one or
What
the
do we
other.
have time for this week? Because I feel like Nottasim is a little bit more writing
It's going to
heavy.
require a little bit more writing. We're going to have to prep segments.
Yeah, but we also haven't done a good written one since Modern Stone Age
Modern
Family.
Stone Age Family. Yeah.
So I would be down for.
We also haven't done one of mine.
That is true. Tyler's
I
beast.
would-
Yeah, I got the last.
O'Neill's on a
You know what?
streak
You know
right
what?
now.
I've had the last I think 3 or 4 B segments. So it's time for me to here, Tyler. Here's the crown.
Oh,
Put
thanks,
it on
buddy.
your head.
Okay.
There you go. And look at that. Another B segment for T
The
Boy.
golden
What does this make?
headphones
2?
given to
That's number 3.
Number 3. What was your other one? I Can Has.
We did. Who the
Oh,
Wick
who
is
the
that?
that was yours. I
that's
thought that was
a
Livers.
good one.
No, that was
Okay.
mine.
No, that was Tyler's.
Okay, well then good. Number 3 for T-Dog. All right. Not a lot of merits and whatnot discussion for this, but
Well, I think we worked.
no,
them
we
all
worked
out
them
to
out.
the
I think we
point
worked them
that
out.
Yeah.
logistically.
They're all
just
like
good. Yeah.
solid
All right.
ideas,
Yeah.
and we just needed to producer which one
Yeah.
that fits as the
And
best.
Nottasim, maybe it has that hello from the Magic Tavern. We can fold it back into the PPPCU. So I'm here for it. Expansion. I love it.
All right.
All right. So we will be back to you with Nottasim, a podcast about not the simulation,